parents compared me to my brother's girlfriend because she's better. I, 29 female, and my partner, 29, were invited to my brother's, Jay, 28, birthday party a few days ago. The whole thing was more than a bit last minute because the invite came 2 hours before the actual party. This is the reason why my partner couldn't come, since they had already made plans. Plus, me and Jay are pretty estranged at this point, so the short notice didn't surprise me. So, Jay started dating his girlfriend, 25, about 2 years ago, and they moved in together this summer. He adores her, and she's head over heels for him. I'm really happy for them, and I only wish them the best. As for girlfriend, we aren't really close, but our conversations are pretty pleasant, even if we're really different character and interest-wise. On the drive to the party, I got a text from my mom, 61, that she and my dad, 66, wouldn't be available that evening, but were wishing me fun. So I wasn't really surprised when I met them at Jay's and his girlfriend place, but I think they were. So I congratulated Jay, greeted his girlfriend, and the other guests started to trickle in, meaning Jay's friends and his girlfriend's parents. Now, my parents, especially mom, adore girlfriend in every single way possible, often talking about her accomplishments, good looks, and sweet nature. They are also visiting her parents or Jay's friends' parents a lot, while the same can't be said about my partners with them never having showed much of an interest. Yes, we've been in a partnership for only half a year, but we've been best friends for more than 10 years before that. During the evening, everyone drank with the exception of girlfriend's mom, since she was the designated driver, and me because I drove there by myself. Especially my dad, but my mom wasn't far behind. Also, I was seated with them the whole time. I listened to my mom praising girlfriend and going on and on about how she's such an amazing cook, how she and Jay keep the house so tidy and are renovating the garden so beautifully, and how she had such a great time while picking out the new couch and closet for my parents' living room last week. Now that part was news for me, since I've only heard that my mom wanted to paint the walls, to which I had already agreed on helping. Also, we've been in contact multiple times the last weeks, me helping her declutter on the phone since I don't live close. Then she told girlfriend's parents how she was looking forward to pick the color and to paint the room with girlfriend, as if it wasn't something that I had already agreed to help her with. When I asked her about it, she kind of blew me off, saying that she forgot to tell me about the new furniture and that they hadn't picked a date for painting yet. Sadly, it's not the first time something like that happened, so I'm kind of used to it. Like, she forgot that I was coming over before, served me a meal with eggs even though I've been allergic to them since I was a child. Nothing major, I just get really bad stomach aches. Also, she criticizes me for a lot of things like my weight, my ADHD, etc. The only time I'm receiving a compliment these days are either for my job, how I was always looking so well after my brother while growing up and during our teenage years. Then, like half an hour later, my dad exclaimed how, in his and my mom's opinion, I can do nothing right. He was going on and on about how I can't speak well in the dialect of my parents, how I always do everything completely disregarding their wishes, and how I'm not even in a proper relationship and everything. My mom didn't make a comment, and I don't know if she didn't hear since she was talking with someone else in that moment or decided to ignore it. When girlfriend's dad spoke up how there isn't really a right way to live a life, my dad told him that that wasn't true and that he knew what was right and I just didn't do those things on purpose. He has blamed me for things even out of my control before, but somehow it took me off guard this time. I decided to leave quietly after that. I spoke with my partner the next day and they are livid with my parents right now. I also have trouble sleeping since then with how the whole evening reminded me of things that happened in the past. For example, my dad naming me as the reason why he suffered a heart attack. My late grandmother telling me she wished I had never been born. My mom blaming me for that particular argument and how my grandmother threatened to harm herself after I set boundaries. Furthermore, I am celebrating my own birthday in a few weeks. My family, including girlfriend, are invited along with my partner and their parents. I'm going to treat them to a pretty high-end restaurant, and I know that they are all really looking forward to it. My family, especially since girlfriend really wants to try that kind of restaurant. Currently, I'm contemplating on just either calling the whole thing off or putting some distance between me and my family after it. I know it sounds petty, but if they already have such a perfect daughter-in-law and I'm nothing but a disappointment to them, why should I keep them this close to me? Just so I can feel even more like a burden in the future? My partner has been great through those last few times, but tonight I couldn't help feel like an a-hole for thinking like that. So am I the a-hole or unfounded for feeling like that? There are some comments though. I think you should take some time for yourself, go to the restaurant with people who value you, and think about the past with them. Who cares if they're looking forward to it? It's about you. Do they bring joy, support, or positivity, or do you keep them in your life out of obligation? If you weren't related to them, are they the kind of people you would want to be in your life? Opie says, thank you. I think I needed to be reminded of that. And they support me when it aligns with their own beliefs or interests, for example, like me going in my current field of work or me getting my driver's license. But don't listen to my troubles with ADHD since they don't believe it exists. Also, I used to love spending time with them, but in recent years, those feelings got more complicated. And we run in completely different circles, so if I wasn't related to them, I probably wouldn't have met either of my family. It's something my partner, as well as their family and our mutual friends, have always been baffled about. And comment 2, I think that for your birthday, you should not cancel, but annul the invitations of your family. I would even say that you should cut ties with your family. You should be devoting yourself to people who value and who help you move forward. People who are toxic to you and hurt you need to get out of your life for a very long time. Your mother just wants you for what suits her the day you have to paint. Tell her that you have the vid and can't go. Obi says, I will definitely not help her paint the living room. That was also one of the first things my partner said when I spoke to them. Thank you for your advice. Basically, it has been quite a wild ride since then. For one, my mother broke her leg. Whoa. And had to rely on me, as well as girlfriend, since my younger brother Jay is busy working and my father can't really help for health reasons. That in itself has been quite something because while my parents talk to me when I'm over, as soon as my brother and girlfriend show up, I'm literally not interested anymore. Since I'm around my parents more than usual, I set some boundaries. For one, I've told them firmly that I'm not someone they can just order to come over at their demand, and they have to tell me a day before if they need something. My mother really didn't like hearing that. But I'm just past the point of caring right now, as you should be. Great for them if girlfriend shows up whenever they want to, but I won't, and I really don't care if she thinks that other people have their priorities set straight. I don't. Also, if they fail to show up or be there when we set a date for like me coming over to cook dinner for them and they're not home once again, I won't repeat these appointments anymore. Either I'm important enough for them to remember or not. I also told the both of them that next year, I, not my father or girlfriend or anybody else, would pick the place where I celebrate my birthday. And they would either be welcome or could stay away for all I care. Again, that was not received very well, or when I told them that my job was majorly exhausting. I work full-time as a kindergarten teacher, and that they can expect me the same things from me as from my brother as an office worker. As for the birthday party in 2 weeks, well, I decided to go through with it. Be the bigger person, even though it will probably not be that entertaining, especially since my partner broke up with me a few days ago. They said they rather wanted us to be friends again than be in a relationship, and that me being a doormat for my family and showing no backbone when they or my partner themselves are being mean to me isn't something they can do in that capacity anymore. Also, because I'm still undecided if I want kids in the future, and they definitely don't. And that's a very fair reason. That hurt like a knife to the gut, but I get it on some points. Also, when I told my mother, I received 0 emotional support, and only after I explained to her that she's way out of line, she apologized for like the first time in a long while. So yes, I'm going to be the biggest person there is, celebrate my birthday with my emotional family, my ex-partner, and their parents. And after that, I'm going to lay low for a while and minimize contact to a lot of people. Do things I like and go back to therapy because after all of that crap this last 2 months, my psyche is not really doing that great. I read your previous post, are you Asian/Chinese, because you said dialect. Anyways, if the girlfriend can do the errands, then you don't have to do. It is like your parents are already molding her into the obedient daughter-in-law that will serve them. Anyway, do you have other friends that you can do a low-key celebration of? You might want to work with a counselor with similar heritage as you. You deserve better. Grieving the relationship sucks, but is needed. I hope you can find yourself and your values and find a way to see yourself as valuable and have worth from within. And Opie says, no, I'm German and I'm speaking mostly what we call High German, while my family is only speaking with the Bavarian dialect. My family has these old Bavarian values deeply ingrained in their minds, and that includes anything outside of Bavaria is, let's just say they, especially my father, don't really like people outside our state very much. And yes, they mostly just call me if girlfriend doesn't have the time or something. So I'm not feeling bad about making my boundaries clear in that regard. And yeah, I'm celebrating with a few friends a week later. I'm keeping family and friends pretty apart since my friends have quite the bone to pick with my family. Understandably. I'm going to look into that. Thank you. These 2 links are what happened until now. Also, this will be the final update. The birthday party came and went, and it was pretty much like I thought it was going to be, except that both my mother as well as my brother tried to include me more than before. And in general, it was nice. Everyone was happy, and I had a nice time as well. It didn't feel like I was an outsider all of the time, just a little bit, which is more than I can usually say. As for the other 3 guests, my ex-parents-in-law excused themselves, but they invited us for coffee on that day, and I got my favorite cake. Lovely. I still have a pretty solid relationship with them, and I hope it holds. And my ex-partner, now trying to act like my best friend again because that was who they were before our relationship started, didn't show up either. Ex claimed that it would be too uncomfortable for them since my parents could make a comment or something about why they broke up with me, and they didn't want to expose themselves like that. You could say that our relationship is a bit strained with some of the stuff they said during the breakup still doesn't sit right with me. Like how I and my problems are a huge burden to them and that I'm nothing more than a doormat. I respect their decision, but it still makes me sad and angry. Maybe I've just grown bitter since the one person who I thought would never hurt me did that so easily and seems to thrive now that they're single once more. Sometimes it feels like I can't recognize them anymore, but oh well. They just have to realize and accept that they lost a whole lot of my trust. Also, I've been in contact with another old friend more and made 2 friends that way. So yeah, things aren't looking that bleak anymore. As for my family and futures, since I set up some boundaries and stuck with them, they're in general more careful with me. I already went low contact with them, but if they decide to pull some BS again, I told them the consequences, meaning that I would lower it even more. I've already heard my mother talk about how much she misses me and how I'm not around as much anymore. I hope with time they can accept that I may be their daughter and not the offspring who never did meet their expectations. With that, thank you to everyone who read and left a comment. You made me smile in difficult times, and your words gave me some options I hadn't thought about. Take care. And that is the end of the story.
This next one has photographic evidence.
Okay, do I get to see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
After I read it.
Okay.
So this is coming from Am I Overreacting? It is titled, Am I Overreacting for Feeling Weirded Out by My Boyfriend Having Scratches on His Back? I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years, and he's never been a back scratcher. I found these on his back 2 separate occasions, and he is always just as confused and nonchalant about it, very dismissive. When I first asked him, he said he didn't know. I kept pressing the matter, and he said it can't be regular scratches, and showed me a picture of what it would look like if someone scratches your back. So I was still confused, because how does that make this better? Then he randomly goes up to his dog and says, "Did you scratch me, dog's name?" And I go, "How would she scratch you like that?"
Did she leave out the dog's name?
Yeah.
Really trying to protect this dog.
Anonymity for the dog. Like, what could you even be doing for that to happen? He then got really defensive. I then proceeded to say that she always cuddles in front of him, so it just didn't make sense. I'm confused where it came from and why he gets so defensive when I ask him that. Am I overreacting, or is he being odd? These are not stretch marks. The camera doesn't capture how deep they actually are. Like, in some points, it looks like there could have been blood drawn.
I need to know what part of his back this is. Oh.
There's his booty down here.
Can you hand me that? Just so y'all know, there are scratches that seem to be right in the middle of his back.
Mm-hmm.
And
kind of a little, like, shoulder blade, if you're, you know.
And they're across. They're not quite shoulder blade. They're more across.
Okay.
And also, this man has a giant shoulders and a tiny little waist. So I guess I don't know enough about this man's personality to question if you should be questioning his reasoning, right? Because if there was someone in my life who was like, it's not from that, I would just believe them because I'm like, this person doesn't lie to me. Did your boyfriend have a history of lying to you? Those look like they could be sex scratches for sure. But also, what does he do for a living? Like, does he work in some place where are there thorns? Are there bushes? Or is he roughhousing with the guys at work? Is he a straight up professional wrestler? These seem like things that should be important to note.
Context.
That being said, he's cheating.
Yeah. I was like, Bob, you can't be serious.
That being said, this man's fully cheating.
Oh my God. Like, these are sex scratches. This is someone trying to be like, sending you a message like, hey, it's basically a leave a ponytail in a car, an eyelash, or a fake nail.
Girl.
Oh yeah, she's trying to send a message home.
You don't think she was just in the moment? You think she was like, someone needs to know about this?
I'm shocked he hasn't come home with a hickey yet. I think she's trying to send a message.
Well, you can see a hickey. You can't always feel when your back is getting scratched.